Hey, what's up, everybody? The crypto market, you're getting a sell today. Look at this. You got XRP down almost 8%. You got XLM down 7%. You got SHIB down 7%. You got Theta down 8.5%. You got Bitcoin down 3%. You got Engine down 10%. You got CFX down 10%. You got BOEM down about 5.5%. You got Linked. I mean, you get the idea. Near down 9%. TIA. Oh no, TIA. 11% for TIA. Let's check out TIA. This will be the worst one of the bunch. So yeah, no, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So what we have here is now we can rule out. This is what I'm saying by, you gotta pay attention to the small time frames, watch where they're going, and then you can rule out what it's not, because you obviously have a couple ideas and now you need to rule those ideas out. So you can narrow down to maybe one or two ideas, right? So what I see here as it sits is a running flat. What we have is 3 down, 3 up, 3 back down. All right, that's 3. And then I got another 3, right? And then I have another, and now it looks like I'm getting 5. I'm not sure if it's finished yet. I don't like the wave structure too much. You see how you're bottlenecking in here? Boom, 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 boom. You hit the low, right? And then you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if we could see that a little bit more clear here. Did that take the top? It did. So that's, I wish it didn't, right here, this little wick took that top, which means we can't say it's a 1, 2. So we would have to say that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're getting 5. So it looks to me like you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you got an ABC, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is an ABC. So that is a 3-way move. So we could have a WXY working, right? Which means you got you have essentially boom, 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 right? Or actually, we got 3, right? And then we have 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3. So it could be finished. I don't think it quite is. I would prefer it to get back down here. As it sits, it's a running flat. If it gets a little bit closer to this area, it'll be a regular flat. Now, if it turns into an ABC, we have a 1, 2. This is probably not finished. 3. We get a 4 and then a 5. And that would be an expanded flat. And then it would most likely be finished. And if it's not finished by then you have something more complex. And there's no reason for me to even get into that because we're not even near there. So it's not like, the reason I do get into it is just to kind of show you, right? So if you got 3, you got 3, you got 3, right? So this whole thing is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you got an impulse, you got a 3-way pullback. The idea is for us to then continue. Now, the way you know it's finished is if you get an impulse, right? If we get something like this, well, guess what? Now you got another 3. And now you're right on the retracement level. So then it opens the door for another 3. And then by that time, it really should be finished, because then that takes you to the end of the year. And maybe that's the case. It makes sense. Because there's a couple examples. Like if you look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin, things don't really start moving until January 1st, right? If you look at all the January 1st, a lot of times things get really moving after the year ends. I'll give you an example with Bitcoin in just a moment. Okay, so there you go. You got a WXY if it would be a very complex wave. So basically we're 1/3 of the way there, less than 1/3 of the way there, if that's the case. Now, so there you go. That, and the reason I'm showing you this is so that it's helpful, right? This is I'm teaching basically how to examine the wave structure. And again, that's why my videos are longer, because I take you through the routes, right? It's like, imagine back in the 1950s, where they didn't have GPS. You had to go out and drive to really memorize the streets. I mean, you still do today, right? But unless you don't drive those routes, you're not going to really know how to get to your destination unless you do it more and more and more often. Practice, 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 time, 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 right? So I feel like with my channel, and I have to say this, so I can separate myself from the pack. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Now, let's say let's zoom out, right? It's all about if this, then this. If this happens, then this happens. If this happens, then this happens, right? It's not clear, cut, and dry like people think it is. Okay. Now, when we look at the daily chart, you don't see anything. It's a little teeny tiny correction, right? And here's what I'll say what this is, guys. Ready? What we have here is old Wyckoff, right? And where we are right now in this graph is right here. And this is totally normal. People are getting scared. I see it on Reddit. Oh, I'm selling. I'm out. I quit. I can't take it anymore. Like, dude, it's 10%. It's nothing. Like, I mean, get over yourself. Embrace it. This is, anytime the market moves 10% down, that's an automatic DCA. It should be automatic, right? Because, you're going to get retracements. For example, if you really wanted to get out of the market, most people, right, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. They don't sell. You crash. They don't sell, right? They come back up. They get excited. They don't sell. Then you get the C wave, and then they sell. And that's when it goes. It happens all the time. The first wave, it hurts them, but it doesn't really phase them too much, because they think, oh, it's just a dip, just like this, just like this. And then when you go back up, they get excited. And sometimes you even break the top and you get a flat, and then they come down, and then they jump ship right at support, and then it goes back up, and then they jump back in. So don't be that guy. I mean, not financial advice, I could be wrong. But if you wanted to sell, here's how you sell. Here's how you do it, right? So you get 5 waves up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can either sell the top, which is incredibly difficult to do, and nobody wants to do it, because there's no evidence that that is the top, because you just have a straight line up, unless you're a trader and it's just like when you get a straight line down and it's 10%, right? Like I just said, it was an automatic DCA. Well, anytime you get 5 waves up and you get a straight line up on the 5th, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the 5th, you got a straight line up, it's maybe 10, 15%. That's an automatic DCA sell, right? So as I'm speaking, I think we're dumping a little bit more here. Not quite. So you can see, obviously there's some divergence in here, right? But before I get there, where I would sell, right, is if I really wanted to get out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have that crash, right? And then you come back up. You're supposed to sell right there in the retracement levels. Now, how do you know it's not going to keep going? You don't. You really don't. You can narrow it down based off this wave structure. For example, if it goes up correctively, if it goes up impulsively, you can kind of gauge, like maybe I want to let go of 15%, 20%, or maybe I want to get out what I put in, so I'm just playing with house money, you know? So let's say you don't get out there. One, two, three, four, five. You still have an opportunity. We have an A, we have a B, and we have a C. You don't get out. You wait, right? Because any three-way pullback, you're going to get a retracement. You're going to get some kind of retracement. Now, sometimes it's only to there. A lot of times it's more so up here, and then we continue crashing to the downside. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chances to get out, right? If you really wanted to, you could do 20%, 10%, 10%, or actually I would do 5%, 10%, right? Just depends how you're looking at it. But to me, you got Ethereum, and Bitcoin at very, very healthy levels, and you have coins like TIA that have barely broken out of their Wyckoff structures, right? So this is a classic Wyckoff accumulation structure here. So if we look here, we can see, let me just try to fit it right there. Let me take a line here. Let me put it right there. Look at that. It's perfect. And then we have another one about right there. That's perfect. This is one of the better looking Wyckoff structures, honestly. And then there. Look at that. So you have a secondary test in phase B. That's this area here. You have you have the automatic rally, right? And then you have the creek or the spring, right? Or the lower point of support. So if you look, right? Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Creek, creek. Explosion, explosion. Consolidation, consolidation. Continuation. Well, wait a minute. We don't have continuation. Continuation, right? So it's coming. It's coming. Now, it's not a guarantee that it comes, right? Again, you can have a black swan event. You can have World War III. You can have, they're trying to pump the 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 viruses out again, right? You got all this virus crap coming out again, and the people aren't going to fall for it, right? So they're going to try to stop Trump from getting in. That this is People think, oh, it's over, we won. No, it's not. They're not going to just roll over and be done with it. They're going to do everything they can to make him not be in office. And then once he's in office, they're going to just be miserable. They're going to do things that we can't even imagine. And it could hurt a lot of people, right? It's kind of like you watch a movie and the cops corner the bad guy. And what does the bad guy do? He grabs the girl and puts a gun to her head and says, "Leave me alone or I'll shoot." He's got a hostage. So think of the girl like the financial system, and think of the police like Trump and the Patriots. I know that's far-fetched. I know that's, oh my God, how can you say that? No, but it's true, that these people are crazy. So anyways, we have this area right in here, right? This is what we're doing. So how far can we go down? Well, I really don't want to go below 650. Okay? Because that's really cutting it here. We really want to show strength in this area. So if we do get an expanded flat, that's okay. But I would more like to see like a triangle, like, maybe like an A, B, C, D, E, something something like that, or better yet, just getting a running flat here, maybe even a more complex one, and then continuation. So maybe we get a flag in here, but that's basically it for TIA. Why did I spend more time on TIA? I'm just showing you the worst coin that I've seen, and it looks totally fine right now. Obviously, this thing can get momentum, and if it dumps and dumps and you get a big capitulation like this, then we're kind of we got to reevaluate. Then something's a little bit more serious in the market if we get some type of capitulation in here. It could be a flash crash. If you get a capitulation like this and it shoots right back up, that's different. If you get down here and you stay down here for a while, that's bad. So, there's always a risk. There's always a risk, but you got to, have the confidence in the structure of what you're analyzing. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It just, it is what it is. We're getting a little bit of bullish divergence on the 1 hour. I kind of don't really like it too much. It kind of looks like a little bit of a bottleneck in here. You had a little bit of a bottleneck in here. Remember, I was talking about TIA, and I said I didn't really like the wave structure, and now you know why. Look, it was kind of like a 1 2 1 2 1 2, kind of give me that impression. But anyway, that's TIA. Let's continue. Let's look at Bitcoin. So when you look at Bitcoin, it's you get these spikes and then the dump. You get the spike, you get a dump. So it's not ready. It's not ready yet. Remember the fractal we were looking at. So if I go to the daily chart here, and so here's the fractal here, right? And obviously it's deviated. It doesn't look the same anymore, but it could be just, something bigger, right? So if we kind of compare it side by side, and let's go down to the 1 hour, and let's kind of look at it here. Looks like I'm going to need to go to like maybe the 4 hour. That's close enough. Yeah, okay. So if we look, and then for this chart, I'm going to need to go to the daily because it's so much bigger. And it took me back, okay, right here. So I think what happened, obviously, we got an interesting fractal here, right? You got this point here, you pop, you got the Bart Simpson, you pop, Bart Simpson, hit the low, and then you kind of just went boom, 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 and then continued. This one actually came up and it broke the top. So I think what's happening, you got to have a little bit of shenanigans. You got to have a little bit of chaos to throw people off guard, right? But I'm still looking at this as a fractal. The difference here, when we look at these two areas, is number one, this had a shallow retrace. It came down in some accumulation. It continued. This had a flat. That's the difference, right? It was still 1 2 3. This is 1 2 3. It's just a monster third that took the top, right? And then what happened here? We slammed all the way back down. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? What happened right here? Nobody's talking about this on the on YouTube. I just don't see it. If you see someone doing this type of looking at this, let me know, because I don't see it. Most people would have thrown the fractal in the trash can and been done with it. But me, I kind of look beyond that, So if you look here, again, we got 3 waves up, you slam back down. You got 3 waves up, you really slam back down. Look at that. Slam, slam, slam down. All right. Now let's pay attention right here. I think I should be on the smaller time frame for this one. I don't like when trading view, you know, when you change time frames, when you look back in time, you have to go all the way back to then look at what you were looking at. And it's like frustrating. Okay, here we go. So now what I'm going to do is actually now I'm going to tone this one down to the 1 hour. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're looking at this dump. We're looking at this dump. And then look what we have. We have a three-wave move up. We have a three-wave move up. And then what happened, ladies and gentlemen? We had a 1, 2, 3 down. Well, to me, it doesn't look finished yet, but we have 1, 2, 3 down. It looks like it needs to come a little bit more. And the way we can do this is we can potentially measure in here. It's going to be a little awkward because of how big that wick is, but we came down. Whoops, can I get that back? Nope. We came down to the 702. You could see. Actually, no, my mistake. I did it wrong. So we're measuring. Okay, well, I'm going to do that in a second. But look at this. If we go back to here, right? Actually, let me flip it upside down. Sorry, guys, bear with me. I'm doing this first time, so it's not like I do this and then I come back and so if we pull that down to here, there we go. So look how interesting this is. We came from this crash, from that crash. We came all the way back up to the 786. We came all the way back. We actually crossed the 786 ever so slightly, right? And then where did we go? We came all the way back down to the 236. Well, where's the 236? All the way down at 93,000, guys. Oh no, we got to fall a little bit more. So we got a 1, 2, and then it looked like you had some kind of five-way move there. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. And then from there, what did we see? We see a retrace back up to the 618. So we get a retrace back to the 618, come back down, back test the 382, and then lights out, see you later, moonshot. Lights out, see you later, moonshot. So that's kind of how I would examine that. Now, if it continues to go down and break the low, you disregard it. If we start to reverse, then you can say it was a shallow retrace. But there you go. That's kind of how I'm looking at this. I think we got a nice looking fractal here. So I think we have a really solid analysis. Now to put that even further, let's let me zoom out, and there we go. We'll go to the 4 hour, and then from here we'll go, let's maybe to the 12 hour. Let's see if that'll fit. And it took me back to my other time frame. I don't know why, but okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at it side by side with just this fractal here. There we go. We're gonna blow it up. There we go. So it actually looked really good for a while, but then it basically, what happened was this B wave turned into a more complex B wave. So this was just a B wave, but this turned into a three-wave B wave, if that makes sense, a more complex B wave. So that's kind of why we see what we see. And again, this is this right there. And then that is that. And then this is this. And then this is this, right? So we should be finishing up somewhere around, I think I said 92K. or yeah, about 94K. I really want to see this support hold in here. So as long as we hold 94, 95K, I think we're doing very well. So there you go. That's Bitcoin. Let's now from an Elliott wave perspective, it's also, you got three, and then you got 1, 2, and now we're getting 3. So boom, 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 go. There you go. That's Bitcoin. All right, now let's look at Theta, and then we'll look at XRP. So Theta did exactly, kind of what we thought. It's a little bit, it's right on support. So it may break the support. The reason why is because we've already closed below. I'm still looking at 350. 350 is still coming, right? It's just going to take a little bit longer because, again, when you run up, you pull back. The question is, do you continue to run up, or is this a B wave? This was a B wave, right? And then you come down into a running flat. It's no longer a running flat. It is now a regular flat. If we break below 271, which ain't far away, then it will be most likely an expanded flat, right? So, and yesterday and the day before, I said it was looking a little bearish. The reason why is because if you look here, right? Remember, we were talking about this. We were on support. We have a shoulder. We have a head. We have another shoulder. We're bouncing, 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 right? And then boom, we broke through. If we take the measured move of that, if we take the measured move of this, and I'm going to do it with that wick there, and then I'll do another one. I'm going a little bit below the line. I'm going to have to put this line right there. But we'll just take this one for now. So we're almost there. We're almost there. 270 would be the hit. Now, if I did it, for example, like this, from here all the way up to the top of the close of the head, right? So not the wick, but the close of the head. And then I put it down here. You can see we actually exceeded it by a little bit. So we're right in that area where we should be almost finishing up. And again, people will sell, right? But let's say you wanted to sell Theta. I don't know why you would, but let's say you wanted to. The way I would do it is you have an ABC, right? I would wait until we get a retrace, and then I would sell it with the hopes that it would continue to crash, which could happen, by the way. If we come back up here and we get rejected here, that's why we're going to have to look very strongly when you have an ABC. And remember what I said, C waves are the most aggressive. This was aggressive, right? We aggressively went down, which is good because you ripped the Band-Aid off. But now the real work begins getting through these retracement levels, and we're going to have to look closely on how it moves up. Does it move up correctively? Does it move up impulsively, et cetera, et cetera? So for now, I'm looking at, it's a beautiful three-way move, actually. Let me see. Is it on the one-day chart? So we have a bearish engulfing daily candle. Let's look at the 4-hour. Well, let me see the sequential. Yeah, so you had a 9 here, and look at that 9. It called it perfectly. Basically, we started to come out, and then it failed. Let's see, the 2-day chart. You didn't make it to a 9. The 3-day chart, you did make it to a 9. Look at that. So we had a 3-day 9 sell. The 1 and the 2 couldn't get above the red dots. You have so far 1, 2, 3, So I'm going to give it 2 more candles, which would be 3 6 day. That's another week. So we technically have another week leeway of time to see, you know, if this is going to be an actual reversal, a bigger correction, or if it's just going to be a pit stop, right? Meaning a pit stop, you flag out, you continue. A reversal means, you know, you get something like this, right? And then you continue. Maybe back test, maybe even getting down here and back testing, right? But we're not there yet. So let's look at the 2-hour chart. And let's take this off. And let's take a look at just the overall wave structure. So yeah, to me, this is a flat. Boom, boom, boom. The big thing is what's going on here, right? The C wave. So before we look at that, let's pull a fib and see where we're at. We should be boom, boom. So from there, we're at the 1-to-1. From up here, we're almost to the 1.414. Look at that, 270. Remember when we measured that head there? That gave us about 270. So that's some confluence there. So this should be the general vicinity of where we should hold the line, right? Now, if Bitcoin gets a more aggressive sell-off, then we could come down to 261. And honestly, you know, let's take a look at the smaller time frame here. I mean, you know, it's really difficult to read. The reason why is I don't have a clear 5 waves. What I have is a knockdown. So you could say that's a 1. And I don't even have a 2. You know, I'm getting these 3s in here. Boom. And then 5. So it looks like 3, 3, and then 5. So it could be done. It could be a 3-wave move. Or this is going to give you a 4 and then a 5. And then you want divergence between those, the 3rd and the 5th. So we're just going to have to pay attention in here and see how it plays. Now, it could be finished now. And let's look at the 5-minute chart here. So you could say, I mean, all I have is 3 waves, right? So if it's going to be a 5th, you know, we have a 1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe we bottleneck on here and then we drop the low. And then we get that 5th and then we're finished. That's one way to look at it. So kind of get a shoulder ahead, a shoulder here. So to me, you need some type of bottoming process in here. So there's just not we need more time. We need at least 24 hours, and then we can get a better feel for what it is. So there you go. That's theta. But ultimately, once this thing is finished, because you got to understand, we went straight up, right? And we're right here at the retracement levels. So we are as high as we were back over in March of this year. And so the difference is, think about how exciting it was there compared to how exciting it is here. It was way more exciting over here than it is over here. And that's a good thing. We want that, because if you had too much excitement, too much euphoria, too much this, too much that, right, it'd be more, you know, bearish, because the crowd is usually wrong, right? So we kind of want people to get complacent. We kind of want people to not feel the excitement, you know. We kind of want things to be quiet, because just like XRP, when things are quiet, that's when you get the move. When everyone's focused on a move, that's when you get the corrections, right? So if we look at the Fibonacci level of where we currently are, look at that. We're right in between. And look at that, guys. We're right in between the 786. So the 786 is at 278, and that's where we came down to. So we don't really want to lose that level, you know, because then the next level down will be 247. Now we do have 271 down here with that other fib on the smaller time frame, but there you go. So for me, I think it's a bullish thing where we have a 3-wave correction. Let it figure itself out. And the way I look at it is best case scenario, impulse, 3-wave pullback, continuation. Not tomorrow, not today, not even the next day. It could take time, right? Other, we have 3 down, we get 3 up, and then we get 3 back down, something much bigger. And then we continue higher. And if you got something bigger like this, then the wave up would actually be bigger, right? So I don't think so. I think this is a 1, 2. I think this is 1, 2, 3. We're going to get 4, and then we come up and get 5. And then you get a bigger correction later on. So, but anyways, that's theta. Let me make sure if this is on. Okay, it was on log scale, but it shouldn't change it much. Yeah, it did change it a little bit. So we got rejected at the 786, and now we're almost down to the 2618 on linear scale. So, but once that correction's solved, we should hit $5.60 coming pretty soon. I don't know if we can do it this month. Might take another couple months, but I think we're on our way. So, anyways, let's keep a look in here. So Sheeb is still moving up nicely. You know, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's kind of, you know, anytime you get 7 waves, it's always a risk that you're going to get something much bigger before going out, something like that, right? So we could be in store for maybe a 30-day correction here. I mean, just by looking at it from a 7-wave perspective. Still very early to know. You had a cup and handle here, but it failed. So to me, you have 3, you have 3, and it looks like you're getting 5. Boom, boom, boom. Looks like we're getting a flat. We're going to come back down, revisit the low, and then reevaluate, hopefully continue from there. Unless, of course, we have this trend line here, and you can see we already broke the trend. If you do it from the wick, we're right there, right on it. But, you know, it doesn't look so hot. Looks like we're going to break it. So let's keep looking here. Let's look at XRP. So XRP really didn't even flinch. You know, it came down a little bit, but it's not that bad. Not bad at all. It's actually a beautiful thing to see where, you know, you're getting more shallow retracements. So, I mean, they can turn into ugly ones, but, you know. So right now, it just doesn't look finished. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and then it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, but it looks so small. You know, it could be finished. The way we will know if it's finished is if we start going sideways. If we go sideways like that, I would be more inclined to say, yeah, we're finished. But if we get a pullback like this, and then we come down, we hit the low, then it would be more likely we're finished because we would have then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we would have a boom, boom, boom. So there's your 3-wave move right there. And then we continue on. The other idea, obviously, would be if this is a complex B wave, kind of like what Bitcoin did. Remember how Bitcoin came up, it took the top? right? So boom, boom, and then you come down and then play around and then go, right? So those really are the two options. You could get a regular ABC like that, but I really want to see it hold this area and sort of consolidate and then continue and get that W shape, that W, that double bottom here. So that's pretty much it, for XRP. Right now we are, between the 3.6 and the 8.2. So, all right. Let's look at the weekly real quick. Weekly still looks fine. Let's look at the monthly. Well, first of all, we have the 12-month candle about to end, guys. This is a big one. 12-month. This is the yearly candle. This is the big dog right here, right? So we got 20. We're still early. We got 22 days. But look at this. If we get this monthly candle, guys, that is why Januaries have been so bullish. And that, I forgot to show you on Bitcoin a couple examples, but a lot of people do it for tax reasons too. Why would you want to sell in December, have to worry about taxes? You know what I mean? When you can just sell next year and not have to worry about taxes for a whole other year. You know what I mean? So if we can close the year above $2, right, then we are in price discovery on a yearly basis, which is the big daddy, right? So, I mean, that's basically the size. That's all XRP right there. That's all the history. So it's nothing, you got a little bit of a base, you got an impulse, and you got a little bit of a cup, or you got a little bit of a pullback, and now you're breaking out. So, people say, oh, we missed it. No, you didn't miss anything. XRP is still a little baby, right? So let me go to Bitcoin here. So here's the Bitcoin 12-month chart. And all we have to do is close above 46,000. And we did it. And we're going to do that by, maybe even $50,000. Okay. So if we go to the weekly and we go back down here, you can see this was the month of December in here, right? And then once we hit January, that was January 1st right there. So there's January 1st, basically, right? And then look what happened after that. You got a pretty beautiful rally. So let's go to 2024. Something similar, we go over here. It would actually be more in comparison with this one. So we hit January, we pulled back a little bit, and then we started to rise. All right. So that's 23 and 24. That's the last 2 years. Here we are, 2025. Man, I can't believe it's already 2025. Time just goes by so fast. Before you know it, you're just old and gray, and that's it. So we got to make the best of it while we have time. That's why this is what I do, so I can have time with doing what I want to do instead of being at a job all my life. Well, no, I mean, I've no offense to people who have jobs, but obviously most people would rather do what they want to do as opposed to what they have to do. But the only way to do what you want to do is to have a vehicle. And crypto is the only vehicle that I see that can transport us from slavery to freedom. You know what I mean? So, but, having a job is actually a good thing. Keeps you going, keeps you, gives you exercise, I mean, if you're passionate about what you do, then that's even better. So if we look at 2022, the start of 2022, this is different because we're in the middle of a bear market, right? So here's January. Right there it is, close enough. But we actually kind of went up for a little bit until March, and then we dumped, right? So we actually had a couple of months here of relief, right? So then we go to 2021, which is right about there, and that's when alt season started. So if I pull up Theta, that's when we really got going, which is actually took a little while, but we actually consolidated here, and that's when we started to pump, right? Theta blasted off when Bitcoin had already topped. So if Bitcoin hasn't topped yet, we can't, that's how you know Bitcoin is pretty much cooked, is when the altcoins really start to fly, and they'll really start to fly when they break above the retracement levels, okay? So we'll go back to 2020. So yeah, we got 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24. All of them are good examples so far. Every single over the last several years, right? Even in the bear market, right? We had a little bit of a retracement. So if we go to right there is good enough. Look what happened, right? Here's January, right? January. Look what happened. We got a big pump. So in January of 2020, we actually pumped, Bitcoin pumped up almost 50%. And then you had C19, right? And then, but then it kept continuing after that, right? All right, now here's another one. I mean, oh my goodness, look at all of these examples, guys. This is why I'm bullish for January. January is probably going to be, so December will probably just chill out, which would be good. It would be healthy. It would make sense. And then when we get January, that's when we start to really turn up the heat. Because, but a lot of times, sometimes you get sell-offs too, because people will sell January just to avoid paying taxes for selling in December. Okay. So if we look at January here in 2019, right, where was it at? Right there. Good enough. All right. So here's a good example, right? Here's New Year's, and then people sold for tax reasons or for whatever. And then we started really accelerating after the year had ended. So that was actually right at the end of January. So January, it could be a little bit of down, but I think overall we're on our way. So we go back to 2018. This actually called the top of the bull market right here. That was the top. This was actually when XRP went completely crazy. There it is. There's XRP. Right? Boom. So that actually signaled the top. All right. So if we go back to 2017, look at that. As soon as 2017 hit, we were off to the races. Perfect. Same thing with the 2016-2017 bull market was the best bull market in Bitcoin's history. It was the most organic. It was the most, and I was, I got the tail end of it. I came in the summer of 2017, but just the way it was, because look at it. We were going up for a while. I mean, we started going up in August of 15, and then you have August of 16, and then you had August of 17. So we were going up for 3 years, 3.5 years. It was a 3.5 year bull run. I mean, you don't get those anymore. The last bull run we had was just nothing. It barely lasted any time. So maybe since the last bull run was so small and tiny, and as far as time goes, maybe this bull cycle, we're going to get a big grand super cycle. Maybe, maybe not, right? We'll have to see. Okay, so there's 20. I mean, you guys get the idea, right? There's 2016 right there. Kind of went sideways a little bit. And then here's another one here. And then 14 actually called the top two. So I'm just kind of seeing, look at 2013 actually. As soon as we hit 2013, we were rolling. So there's so many examples, guys, of when the new year starts. That's when things turn up the heat, right? So there you go. We'll see if that continues to play. Now, could it be like one of these and it actually called the top of the bull run? It totally could, right? For example, if we have a 1-2 and this pulls back and we pull back here 3 and then we shoot up for a 5 sometime around January 1st or so, that could actually be the top. And then we kind of pull back, we kind of come up here, we consolidate, and then we kind of crash, and then we get the alt season up there. I mean, that's just one idea. But anyways, that should do it. If we look at a few other charts here, you know, engines pulling back, XDC. CFX. So CFX, obviously, you had your Wyckoff structure here. You broke out. Now you're kind of playing around. We should get a continuation. Let's check out Bohm. You know, Bohm didn't, you know, it's still holding up pretty good. You know, you got 3 down, you got 3 up, right? So maybe we get 3 back down and then we continue, something like that. So you probably got maybe a little bit more downside, maybe coming back down here and retesting these areas. Unless we can hold this area in here, we'll have to wait and see. Let's see, chain link. Looks like a flat here. I'm just kind of looking at a few of them near. I think it finally broke that trend. Maybe not. Like, see, there's one trend here. There's another trend there, but it's actually, yeah, it's kind of better if you do it like this. So we could come back down to that trend line there. And again, you know, you kind of get these flats, boom, 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 up, boom, 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 up. We talked about TIA, Avalanche. Oh yeah, AVAX is finally pulling back. Got that 3-wave shape coming here. So it could be extended. I don't think it's finished yet. I think we got more pain. But I think we're getting close for at least a bounce coming soon. If not already, some of them look like they're ready to bounce. If we look at ICP, you can see you got a pretty nice looking RSI down here, almost oversold. We shot up and now we're kind of we're accumulating at the lows here. So let's see if we get a retracement. But it doesn't look quite finished yet. You know, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or A, B, C. Just have to see. Litecoin. Yeah, it just doesn't look finished yet. Looks like this needs to come and hit the low here. So boom, boom, boom. Expanded flat. Now, if it is finished, obviously we want to hold the low. But again, we kind of need to give it a little bit of time. Filecoin looks good right now. You know, it's kind of, let's zoom in here and see if we can see anything. Yeah, you know, Filecoin does look okay right now. Yeah, okay, look at that. We got a 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I don't like this though. I mean, yeah, I guess so, because, you know, Theta did this kind of look, had like that slanted look to it. But it could be a bottleneck here. As long as we don't break that low, this could be a 1-2. And let's come back up for a 3. Or rather, A, B, C. So here's your area here. It looks like you need to come back up and retest it at some point. You know, I guess you could say 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it could be finished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least for today. And like I said, Sundays, Mondays have been usually the bearish days of the week. Why? Well, I'm not sure exactly why, but it's actually a good thing because, like I said, you want to be bearish in the beginning of the week so that you can have a strong end of the week. So, for example, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, bearish, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, bullish, and then Sunday, you get a better weekly close. I mean, that's how I always like to think about it. But again, sometimes if you get a very bullish Monday or Tuesday, then that means you could get a bearish end of the week. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it kind of looks like we are getting a fourth wave here of some sort. You got a 1, 2, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then maybe you get another, obviously a 4 and then a 5. So it just started. It could be as little as backtesting this area here, or it could be as big as coming all the way back down and retesting this area over here before continuing higher. Just like, kind of like what, for example, if you look at theta, right, and we zoom out, here's your range right here, right? And then we broke out, and then we had to come all the way back down to back test it before continuing. So if this is your range, what if we have to come all the way back down and back test it? Just like this was our range, and we had to come back down and back test it. You know, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it could be as severe as that. But, you know, in a bull run, it just doesn't make sense to me that would be the case. But again, we're just going to have to monitor it. But so far, yeah, we're starting to pump here a little bit. We're starting to get a little bit of a pump here. Let's see if we can hold the lows and get back up here. So, all right, that'll do it for this video. I think that's about it. You can see Jupiter coming back and retesting this area. So, you know, you got some support coming in. Dogecoin kind of looks like you're on that trend line here. Flow, let's take a look at Dog. Dog looks pretty good still. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then maybe we can get 5 here. But yeah, pretty good. Not so bad. Embrace the volatility and Anyways, that'll do it for this video. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. And if you can hit the like, subscribe, drop a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.